All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 582 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And yesterday, I did an episode where I did a parallel of the quarterback for the Falcons, Desmond Ridder, and the quarterback of Georgia Southern, Davis Brin. And I kind of got hyped up talking about that. I was really excited after the show was over, and I wanted to continue to do that. So today, we're going to do the running backs. And when I started to look into this, which I should have known this from the get-go, that there's a lot of comparison between the two types of running backs that the Falcons have and Georgia Southern have. Now, I know Cordell Patterson is going to be a part of the offense as well for the Atlanta Falcons, and just same thing with probably Terrence Gibbs is probably going to be a big part of the running game with the Georgia Southern Eagles. But I want to talk about four guys on each, well, four guys, two on each team. And I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions about these two guys because they're the most, I say the most experienced. And, well, at least for Georgia Southern, the most experienced. And it look like they're the most prominent running backs on each side. So we're going to talk about that and give you my thoughts and opinions on it. If it's your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Check me out on the podcast avenue. I highly recommend it. Be your own program manager. Subscribe or follow me over there and listen to the podcast at your leisure. I really appreciate it. If you prefer the YouTube side or the Rumble side, I really appreciate that as well because we are growing like crazy. What I want to do is to recommend both. I really recommend you just to subscribe to both sides because one sense that you may not get the podcast on one entity, but it'll be on another. I've seen it happen sometimes, but nevertheless, it's all good. I can be found also on Twitter at VF Baller, talking about things that don't necessarily make it to the show. And also don't forget my website, link down in the description, firstandframerates.com. That's the hub of the podcast. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Thunder and Lightning. Thunder and Lightning. Yes, we have Thunder and Lightning on both teams. Tyler Algier is going to be the Thunder. Like I said, I know Cordell Patterson is still going to be implemented in the running game some, but I feel that Tyler Algier is the Thunder. Lightning, obviously, is going to be Bijan Robinson coming in with the versatility and all the things he can do. Dude's like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to not only just running the ball and catching the ball out the backfield, he can play receiver. He can do a little bit of everything. Now, let's talk about Georgia Southern. Jalen White, one of my favorite players that came to Georgia Southern within the past few years. I love this kid. He's a workhorse. He can run the ball. He don't mind running over people. Kind of similar to Tyler Algier. He's the Thunder. The Lightning, O.J. Arnold, scat back, but he has the ability to do a little bit of everything, just like Bijan Robinson. I've seen him catch out the backfield, be a receiver, run between the tackles, even do some kickoff returns. This kid can do it all. So there's the parallel right there. You have the Thunder with Tyler Algier and Jalen White, and also you have the Lightning with Bijan Robinson and O.J. Arnold. Now, I will be remiss. I'm not going to sit here and try to put the college kids up against the pros and put them up to a high standard, because what Tyler Algier has done is absolutely amazing, coming in with 4 games into the season and still run for over 1,000 yards. Bijan Robinson, the numbers he put up in college, running for over 1,500 yards and catching and actually receiving another 300 yards. Absolutely a monster when it comes to being productive. Now, it's really hard for these guys to be up to that standard, but the format is almost the same. Now, I know, for instance, that Coach Clay Helton is going to throw the ball more. He's not going to be running the ball as much as Coach Arthur Smith, which I'm starting to think there's going to be more of a balance. It's not going to be heavy on the run, but that's another story for another day. But with that being said, these kids for Georgia Southern could be very productive with their 1-2 punch. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the Atlanta Falcons are going to do that as well when it comes to Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Does that push Cordell Patterson to the wide receiver position? I mean, because Cordell Patterson can do almost anything. So does that push him out there? Does it still make him a viable option? I mean, it's hard not to give him the ball, but when you got this firepower like this, what can you do? Terrence Gibbs, 4-star recruit out of the state of Florida, actually is pretty good at running the ball as well. I saw him play with in the spring game. He looked pretty good, but do he get that much playing time when you got this much firepower in the backfield? It's something to think about. Now, when you look at the stats, you already know, if you've been watching this show for a while, Tyler Algier ran for over 1,000 yards, even though he only played 13 games. I find that very amazing for him to do that. If he played all 17 games, you're probably looking at a guy that probably maybe have 1,500 yards. So it's really interesting to see what happens when you go to the next season. I mean, he averaged almost 5 yards a carry. Really, really interesting, really, really productive for a guy that was a 5th round pick. Now, when you go look at, we already talked about Bijan Robinson, what he did with 1,500 yards in college. How's that going to translate when he gets to the NFL? I'm pretty sure Arthur Smith is going to put him in a position to do, some great things. So you already know what you're kind of going to be getting with that. Jalen White, a guy that most people don't really think about. I mean, when you look at Georgia Southern, the state of college football in the state of Georgia just basically runs through the Bulldogs, and it's understandable. But when you look at a kid or you look at a team that's up and coming with Coach Clay Helton, I think will help you to look at this team a little bit more, because I think they're going to be doing some great things. I think they're going to be doing something really good. Jalen White, 914 yards rushing last year, 5.6 yards a carry. Now, mind you, I don't think he played every game last season. I don't think he played. I want to be remiss. I'm not sure. I want to say he played in the Appalachian State game. He played in the bowl game. I'm not sure. I don't think he did, because the Appalachian State game, we had like running back by committee, and those guys did a fantastic job. But I don't think he played in either game. So, and he hasn't played much he hasn't played this spring either, but pretty sure he's going to be back to play. I can't wait to see how that goes. Also, with the fact that he ran for 914 yards, he also caught the ball for 217. Oh, I'm sorry, 217. And, that's something that's not really talked about as much either. Now, flip that. Let me go back to Tyler Algier. His receiving yards, 16 catches for 139. So you see the parallel where Thunder can actually catch out the backfield. These two guys don't mind taking contact, running people over, small little bowling ball guys that can actually catch out the backfield. This is one of the reasons why I think if you're really wanting to look for a quality player that can go in the NFL as a running back, Jalen White might be that guy. I think he's a really good NFL prospect, standing at 6 foot 215, and also can catch out the backfield with the speed that he has. Now let's go to the Lightning before I get up out of here. What more can I say about, Bijan Robinson? I mean, what can you say? I mean, the guy's versatile. He's like going to be the next Ed McCaffrey. I keep thinking Ed McCaffrey. To show you how old I am. He's going to be the new Christian McCaffrey. He's going to be the Alvin Kamara. I believe he's going to be really good, having over 1,800 all-purpose yards in college. I mean, at the minimum, I'm being very, very low with this number, but at the minimum, I think he can, produce at least 800 yards or 700 yards, all-purpose yards coming up in this next season. I mean, that would be fantastic on top of everything else we have. So not much to talk there because he hasn't played a down in the NFL yet, but I think as a rookie, getting him 800 all-purpose yards for his rookie season would be very, very good, unless if he just goes all out and be on fire, and then you just want to give him the ball because he's just that good. He grasps the game that quick. Talent-wise, I think he can do it, but it's going to be yet to be seen. Now, jumping over here to O.J. Arnold. O.J. Arnold shocked a lot of people because I was told from a staff member on Georgia Southern, they told me, like, look, this is a true freshman, but it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. This kid looks really, really good. This kid don't mind running through the tackles. He doesn't mind catching the ball out the backfield. He doesn't mind doing these things, and he is way beyond his years when it comes to talent already as a true freshman, and it showed. I mean, even with the limited touches that he got, he made the most of them. 45 carries for 257. That gave you 5.7 yards a carry. He had one rushing touchdown. He also caught the ball 10 times for 58 yards with one rushing touchdown. Now, what does that mean? That means that this kid can do both. He can do really good things. His first touchdown, and I want to say it was the first touchdown of the season, he did catch a touchdown pass from Kyle Vantrease, and he was able to be very productive throughout the season, and even though his play was limited because of him being a true freshman. Now, let me tell you something else. In the spring game, the kid went off. He did really good. I want to see if I can pull up those stats. I'm not really sure. I do apologize. I didn't have these on deck. Sorry, guys. My computer was acting kind of slow, but I got it. I got it here. So What happened was O.J. Arnold ran the ball 11 times for 127, also had a long run of 56. So it shows you the progression. And also, yeah, it was the spring game, but that was the same game where defense dominated. They ended up winning the game 43-19. So the defense showed up big time, and he was still able to get over 100 yards. So O.J. Arnold's going to show us that he could be that guy that's going to mix things up when Jalen White is not going to be the guy. But he also can make things happen if he needs to run between the tackles. Kind of similar to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson did a lot of things at Texas. So when you're looking at the Thunder and Lightning aspect of these two teams, you really have something here with both. So if you're a Falcons fan and you just really been, looking at the Bulldogs, and I understand why, or you've been looking at other college teams, there's another team down here in Georgia that actually has some exciting football going on. They're really good. A couple of games didn't go their way last year. They ended up losing the bowl game by 2 points, but we should have easily won 8 games. Easily. There was a couple of games we had no business losing, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Nevertheless, I want to know what you guys think about these 4 running backs here. Do you see the parallel here? Do you see where the Thunder with Tyler Algier and Jalen White? Do you see the Lightning with Bijan Robinson and O.J. Arnold? I think it's something really, really interesting, and I think it's going to be exciting to watch. I can't wait for it to happen. Man, this offseason needs to hurry up. The regular season can't come quick enough. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, man. Am I wrong? Do I don't know what I'm talking about? What do you guys think about this? Are you interested in more stuff about Georgia Southern? Because I talk about those guys a lot here. It's been kind of a down, time in the part of the season it happens. But let me know what you guys think. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Hit that like button. Give me a 5-star rating on the podcast avenue if you haven't already. And check me out on Twitter. And I'm also at firstandframerates.com, where that is the hub of the podcast. I want to get out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And I will definitely catch you guys on the next one. You guys take it easy and you guys be blessed. Peace.